Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to home. Which way am I going? The lid had fallen on the entrance there and was stuck shut. I was relieved to be above ground again. I figured I should keep moving. Looks like I'm going this way. There's a ladder. An old ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. More bats. More bats? Sorry. That's my Joker impression. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. I slid the filthy wallet in my back pocket. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards or ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. Did I put this up here, or was somebody else carrying it? From the railing, I could see over the woods and down to the entrance to the sewers. Had I come through here before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. It was getting cool up there, and I shivered with an uneasy sense of what was to come. How did I get home from here? This way? I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved open the rusty door. The wind was picking up a bit, and the night air had become strangely chilly. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. Okay, so I can come and go as I please. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course! The map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? What was I doing coming back here? What am I doing now? The old train was ripped open, and hanging from a shred of metal as well as the broken fence was a dark stained patch of cloth. It looked synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train's shell I could see a few faint impacts, like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was somebody shot there? The ground was well worn, though I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found as I thought. It was getting colder out there, and I had to keep moving. The sorry condition of that place seemed sad somehow, but also ominous. I mean, yeah, most abandoned places are ominous. And kinda sad. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. This station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town, after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher-looking paper covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. It looked like someone had been leafing through the old ledgers, looking for something. A name, perhaps? Okay, so that's it here, I guess. I'm making sure to pick up everything and explore everywhere. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. I almost wished I had paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been less nervous about entering that dark forest. Sorry, I was not paying attention. I was looking down. Let's go through the first one. Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around. A dry old picnic table sat lonely amongst the trees. It had carvings and marks from years of previous campers. As I tried to read some of the names and the marks, I idly thumbed the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something onto that table. With a few crude strokes, I etched a simple design into the wood, R+H. Felt like a teenager defacing the table. I read some of the other names and notes on the table's surface. Rytron, Kumar, Uncle Phil, Henry, Daniel, David, Jenny. Seemed like the table had seen a lot of use over the years. And then, is this the proper way to go? The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. No, I didn't cross like that. In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try. Maybe there was another option. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in those woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? 2 folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. Whoever was here left this place in a hurry, but why? A cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. Felt like if I kept rooting through the campsite, someone would walk in on me. Oh, excuse me. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. There was a damp-smelling plank leaning against the stall door. I might have been able to cross the river with it. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. There wasn't much in the way of clean water there, but the sink did work. The sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. I didn't know who was camping back there, but I couldn't bear to stick around to look for them. I just wanted to get out of there. I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. I want to cross the river. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names: Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Those were the names. Rachel. Her name was last on the list and had been marked beside it, and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Okay. I'm gonna go over here. And then over here. Yeah. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure it would hold. I used it though. Two bodies, two young women, were half dug into a hasty, shallow grave between the trees. The younger-looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. But I cleaned up the gravesite. I tried to cover them up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. Girls weren't carrying ID, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever had done this had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help? Did I cross back over to the other shore? Yes, I did. So, can I go back to their campsite and see if they have a phone? A cellular device, if you will? It's so easy to get lost in this, my gosh. That was my bad. Okay, I don't know where their campsite is. I am lost. Yeah, I don't know where their campsite is. But I mean, I already searched it anyway. If there was a phone, it would have said something, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah, so not that one. Oh, campsite's just right here. By the looks of it, the fire hadn't been extinguished. It had just died out over time. Olivia? Daphne? The inside of that tent was suffocating. Okay, so yeah, no phone. The forest started to thin out a bit, and through the trees I could make out parts of the town beyond, and the first hints of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel them on my neck like a warm breath. Those girls I had found. Someone had taken them from their campsite and had murdered them. Was it the same person who had left that odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe and to find a way to reach Rachel. Alright, thank you everybody so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Have a happy whatever. Always remember that your future is unwritten, so make it a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.